let's do this. It's been like what, a month since I watched Impact Wrestling. Just got off of Slammiversary. Slammiversary was a good show. I have expectations, but they're pretty low. So let's see how Impact Wrestling follows up their Slammiversary show. Okay, we're starting off EC3. Not too bad, not too bad. I can get behind that. We're starting off with Chris Bay versus Willie Mack. That's even better. The X Division Championship starting off this show. This is a great way to start off. We're starting off things pretty hot here. I like it. Okay, Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne. I guess they're our lead commentators. They gotta narrate the show for us. And the Good Brothers are following that match. Okay, we're keeping a ball rolling. Nice pacing in here. And Ace Austin's getting his words in too. He looks like a young bull in comparison, but he give him time, he'll get there. And Heath Slater is still trying to get backstage, even though he was actually on Impact Slammiversary, but okay. And Rhino Hernandez as well. Okay. Chris Bay, I mean, I kind of just saw Chris Bay. I don't really know why I needed to see him gloating that he won, but I guess character development, that works. What else do we got? What match is up next? Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. I thought that was only like a one-off tag match thing. What's the point of all this? Where's the... Can we get to the next match, please? Jesus Christ, how many times we gotta see people talk here? Where's the actual wrestling at? Okay, Eddie Edwards is now out here. Obviously, we're gonna be getting a match with him wrestling tonight. Oh my god. What is going on? We've had like 3 wrestling matches and like 18 segments. What is this? Wizards of Waverly Place? Is she a magician? Is she snapping these people into place? Is she the reverse Thanos now? What is this? Where's the wrestling? Where is the wrestling? Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel, and it's weird to say welcome back to another. But welcome back to another Impact Wrestling review. Last time I watched Impact Wrestling, it was last month. I think on the June 21st edition of Impact. I thought it was the episode where Deonna Purrazzo debuted, put it that way. I thought that was a fine, decent episode of Impact Wrestling. It wasn't anything that really got me into watching the show going forward. But given everything going on with Impact going into the pay-per-view Slammiversary, I ended up buying the pay-per-view and watching it, and I enjoyed it for the most part. So I thought maybe out of curiosity, I will check out Impact Wrestling this week. And that's what I did earlier this morning, and I don't know, man. It feels like every time I try to watch Impact Wrestling, they just don't bring it. I guess this is me early on just saying that I didn't really enjoy this show all the way, but I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I mean, let's just get into the show, okay? And then you'll understand why I didn't like it outright coming out of it. So the first match we had was Chris Bay versus Willie Mack to start off for the X Division Championship, a rematch from Slammiversary. This was it was decent. I mean, put it this way, it was their Slammiversary match, but like shave all the good parts out. It basically, it went like maybe 5 minutes. It was short, so that was my first issue. And then, like, the finish kind of happened, and the match is over. I'm like, okay, I guess this is a decent way to start off the show. Championship match wasn't even worth really being on television, if you ask me, but okay. Then you hop into a promo from the Good Brothers, which, you know, I expected. You know, I had no problem with that. They had a nice promo, basically talking about their, it was almost basically a promotional for their upcoming pay-per-view, Talk Shop and Media, whatever that thing is called. Their own pay-per-view that they're doing. I think that was really taped and edited maybe by Impact. That's why they were promoting it so much. That brought out Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. Ace Austin looks like such a young bull in comparison to Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. It's actually kind of funny. But they brawled for a little bit. Ace Austin and Madman Fulton went running. The Good Brothers look pretty strong going into the show. They're definitely building up a future tag match between those two teams, so I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm starting to slowly but surely become a fan of Ace Austin through his promos and matches. Then we got a Heath Slater segment. Well, he's not Heath Slater. His name is just Heath. As he said in the promo, he can't go by his last name anymore, so now his name is just Heath. I would rather him just change his name altogether, but I guess you got to go off of the name he's been known of for like the last 10 years. And basically the segment consisted of the security guard basically saying, I don't know who you are and I don't know why you're back here. He's like, come on, man, I was actually on the show last week. And he's like, well, I can't let you through. I mean, I've said this on the Impact Slammiversary stream. It's like, this is basically the same storyline as when Heath Slater didn't get signed to a brand during the 2016 WWE draft. It's basically almost that same storyline. It feels like, at least. Then he tried to call Rhino. Rhino didn't pick up the phone because he was too busy arguing with Hernandez backstage. And I'm like, okay. I guess we're doing something with Heath here. I wonder when he's going to have to get a match to get to wrestle, but who knows. Then we got a segment with Chris Bay. He just won the championship. I didn't know why we needed this segment. Some dude named Brahim, I don't know what his name is. He was in the segment too. He wanted to team with Chris Bay. That's all I got from it. Then we got into the next match with the team of Havoc and Nevaeh versus Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. Once again, I thought this was a decent tag. It was just a short match. Like, I just felt like the matches weren't really given enough time for me to really get into them. As soon as they bell rung, they got their stuff in, and then the match is kind of over. And the ending of this match is just kind of dumb because you had Havoc, who was basically out of the match for a lot of it, because I'll give Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan credit here. I like the tag dynamic of them, like, segregating Nevaeh away from Havoc, because Havoc's the way bigger woman, way stronger, all that type of stuff. So they kept Nevaeh at arm's length so she couldn't tag in Havoc, because they didn't want to face Havoc, of course. So when Havoc finally tagged in and, you know, ran roughshod over Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz going to the outside and she gets a steel chair. And you're obviously thinking, well, she's not going to hit Havoc. She might tease it or whatever. So Havoc's going for a tombstone on Kiera Hogan. And then Tasha grabs this chair, and in the absolute lightest chair slap I've ever seen in my entire life, she hits Havoc in the back and gets DQ'd. And I'm like, now mind you, Havoc didn't sell this chair shot, as she shouldn't have, because that would have been so stupid. She held on to Kiera Hogan. Nevaeh took her out of the ring, and then she ends up hitting the tombstone on Kiera Hogan anyway. So I'm like, okay, not only did she win, but she barely had to do anything. Good for her. We then got a flashback match. It was a match between Bobby Lashley and Eddie Edwards for the Impact World Championship. I think that was back in 2010 when I wasn't watching Impact, or 2012 or something like that. I don't know. It happened a while ago. It was just like a 3-minute piece of the match. Whatever. Then we got a I swear to God, this had to be all 10 seconds. A 10-second segment with Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. Sami Callihan walked up to Ken Shamrock and said, "Hey, you're the reason why we lost our match." And Ken Shamrock's like, "Don't you think I know that?" And then he just walked away. And I'm like, did this need to happen? I don't see why this segment needed to exist, honestly. I don't see what that does for either man, but whatever. This is like the 6th segment on the show so far, mind you. Then you got into RVD and Katie Forbes, and Katie Forbes is promoting her OnlyFans or her website or whatever the hell. And I'm like, when's the next match going to happen exactly? Okay. So then we get into the next actual match, which was teased earlier in the night. Hernandez versus Rhino. Both men putting their money on the line. I guess it's, you know, bill for bill. So Hernandez is handing his cash off to the referee. You know, they're putting their wagers in. Bell rings. Spear from Rhino. Pin. End of match. Went all of maybe 5 seconds. And it ended. Rhino took the money and he ran. I'm like, oh, well, there goes our wrestling match. I don't even consider that a wrestling match. So, all right. We didn't follow this up with a teaser from Brian Myers. I'm like, okay, we getting Kurt Hawkins in Impact Wrestling. Now, mind you, Kurt Hawkins has been a jobber for WWE for like God knows how many years. So I don't really know why people would get super excited about this, but I'm curious to see how they handle his character in Impact. That's what I will say about that. Then we got a Deonna Purrazzo segment. She was backstage talking about her victory against Jordynne Grace, and then she was interrupted by Kylie Ray, and Kylie Ray's trying to give her a handshake, and Deonna Purrazzo fakes her out, tries to break her arm, I'm like, okay, cool, next match, please. Eddie Edwards gets in ring promo. I'm like, okay, Eddie Edwards, maybe he's gonna wrestle. Not in his gear, but maybe he'll end up wrestling out of this promo. EY comes out and he interrupts Eddie Edwards. I don't really care to see EY versus Eddie Edwards, but okay. They don't even have a match. They basically had a little bit of a spat, and that's it. I'm like, cool. Next match. But no, we then get a Moose segment, and Moose is talking about the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Oh, whoops. I mean the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The defunct TNA World Heavyweight Championship that he's going to defend every single week for some reason. I'm like, okay. Next match. Please. Then we get a Eddie Edwards backstage promo, and I'm like, what the now Eddie Edwards is backstage, even though we literally just saw Eddie Edwards like 2 minutes ago. Eddie Edwards is now backstage, talking about his Impact World Championship win again. And Trey Miguel comes out, and he's like, well, he doesn't come out, he comes back to him, and he's like, hey, man, I want to challenge you for the World Championship. Eddie Edwards is like, you're on. I'm like, yay, cool, Trey versus Eddie, let's go. You could have done this in the previous segment to make room for another match, but okay, let's do this. Then we get an actual match here. Yes, finally. We get Moose versus Fallah Bahh, because in the Moose segment, I forgot to mention, he actually challenged Fallah Bahh for his TNA World Heavyweight Championship. I'm like, okay, I didn't really ask for this match. I don't know if any of you asked for this match, but it's a match nonetheless. Okay, let's go. The match goes like maybe 3-4 minutes, and then Moose wins. I'm like, when's the main event happening? When's the main event? I'm waiting for this main event. This better kick so much ass. I swear to God. Oh, yeah. And EC3 came out after the match and attacked Moose, but this segment lasted only like 7 seconds, so it really didn't have any impact on me, but impact on me. Get it? All right, I'm out of here. Then we get a Rosemary and Johnny Bravo, or whatever the hell this guy's name is. Segment. I'm like, I understand we need to do character development, and maybe this is for the newer Impact Wrestling fan like myself to get these guys across. But god damn, why did we need this literally, these promos, I swear to God, made up at least 75% of this show, if not more. I did the math. Every match on this show, aside from the main event, only made up 16 minutes of this entire show. 16 minutes. This is a 2-hour show. And those first 3 matches, because there was only 4 matches on this show to my knowledge, only made up 16 minutes. The Young Bucks versus the Butcher and the Blade from AEW Dynamite last night, that made up 16 minutes. That one match made up 16 minutes. But those 3 matches only made up that block. I'm like, okay. So then we got a Rosemary Johnny Bravo promo, and everyone got snapped into existence by Rosemary, and she basically brought out this new show called Wrestle House, which I guess. Then we finally got into the main event. The North versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. And I thought this was a good match, but it could have been way better if I wasn't like so tired and ready to turn the show off. I felt like the way the show was paced leading into the main event did not make me more excited for the main event, but it wanted me to see the main event so that way the show can end. That's why I wanted to see the main event at that point, because I wanted the show to be over. And I felt like that stigma did not make me really get into the match as much as I wanted to. Don't get me wrong, a lot of good tag chemistry between these two teams. I want to see them face off more often in the future. I thought the match was good overall. Not the best match I've seen from Motor City Machine Guns. It was only the second match I've seen from the North, so I can't really say if it was the best match or not. Probably not. I'm just assuming it wasn't. Motor City Machine Guns ended up winning the match. I think the North went for their tag team finisher, and Chris Sabin ended up countering this into a cradle pin and ended up beating the North to win the Impact World Tag Team Championships. And I was pretty happy about that. They're finally tag team champions again. We get to see what these guys can do in the tag division. We already know what they can do. We're now at this point seeing how is the tag team, division going to shape up with MCMG leading the pack. And that was Impact Wrestling. I probably finished that review in record time, but like, holy shit, bro. This did not need to be 80% segments. I totally understand that they want to make sure everybody on this show is introduced to the new viewers, but you could have taken these segments and you could have spliced them in the entrances. You could have spliced them in. You could have, honestly, truly, there was 2-3 segments you could have cut out of the show completely, and the show would have been perfectly fine without them. The Moose segment you could have cut out of the show. You could have cut the Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan segment out of the show. You could have condensed the Eddie Edwards segment by making Trey Miguel come out during the EY part, and that would have been fine. You could have cut the RVD and Katie Forbes segment out of this show. You could have cut the Chris Bay segment out of this. Like, they could have cut 5 things out of the show and added it into like one of these matches or 2 of these matches and made them a bit longer, and the show would have just been a little bit better. But overall, I thought this was a skippable show. Aside from the main event, I don't even think saved this show. It was skippable. Once again, I find myself trying to watch Impact Wrestling, and every single time, aside from Slammiversary, which seemed to be the only thing that they've done good over the last 7 years I watched them, They seem to just lose me every time. I don't know what they're doing, but hopefully next week they could probably try to get back into the races and make a good show out of this. I don't think I'm watching next week's show, I'll be honest with you guys. You know what? Here's the thing. If this video gets 30 likes on this one video, I'll tune into next week's episode of Impact Wrestling and see what's good. And hopefully next week's episode will be way better than what we got here. That being said, that was Impact Wrestling. What did you guys think? Comment down below. Let your boy know. Am I being too hard on the show? Please tell me if I'm being too hard. Maybe I am. I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys always, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out, guys.